Hello and welcome to the Media Munchies podcast. I got freaked out for a second because I forgot we were recording on Zoom, even though we just said we were recording on Zoom. Because, like, in Audacity, I can see the little thing going along. So I was like, where's the thing? But if we are recording, then we are recording. Hi and welcome. This is Logan speaking, and we have the return of a very special guest. The one, the only...
Nate, it's me. Hello.
And I'm so happy to be having Nate back because he was in the very first podcast on One Direction, if you remember, or if you don't know.
Oh, geez, no.
Yes, OG Media Munchie Stan. We need a name for the fans. Sorry.
Gary.
No. Yeah.
The fans?
Yeah, the fans.
Yes. Narcissism on its highest level.
Hey. Okay, Gari's in the picture too, but she's in the background. I don't know if anyone heard that, but she said narcissism on its highest level. And speaking of narcissism, Nate's got Klaus in the background here.
Yes, just hanging out with my boo, my boyfriend.
Yes, of course. What's the actor's name? I wanted
Robert
to say
Sheehan.
Robert Sheehan, the
Which
legend.
You need to watch Misfits. BBC Misfits is the best.
Yeah, he's in that, right?
Yes, it was such an iconic show, and that is what made me fall in love with him.
All right. Yeah, I might check that out, and then we could do an episode on that too. Who knows?
And he's a disaster buy in that show as well.
As well? Perfect. Honestly, like, some of my favorite characters are disaster buys.
So what are we talking about today, Logan?
All right. So today we are talking about The Umbrella Academy, specifically season 2, because that's the latest season that came out, and that's what's fresh in the mind of me and Nate.
Mm-hmm.
And originally Nate showed me the season because I was like, am I going to watch it? I don't know. Maybe not, because like I forgot how good it was, to be honest. I'm just straight up going to say I did forget how good it was. And I watched season 2 and I was like, this is very good. So Nate showed me the first two maybe, I don't know, of season 2.
Yeah, I think we watched the first 2 or 3.
And they were great. So basically, he also gave me the idea to talk about this show.
Yeah, it was basically an excuse to just get back on the podcast.
Yeah, and of course I live for it because like I feel like I was trying to think of ideas of how to get Nate back on the podcast because like we haven't seen each other in a while, or we hadn't at that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, we need Nate back on the podcast, even if it's through Zoom, which I don't know if you mentioned. Today it's through Zoom. And Gary will have the pictures up with the Zoom background. That's so funny because we were like, Nate has Klaus in the background. And like people who thought or like didn't realize it was on Zoom, they'd be like, what does that mean? Like maybe a poster, but
I'm
like
just hanging out with him. No, he's here. He's my ghost boyfriend. What about it?
Aw, speaking of my ghost boyfriend.
Oh no.
Ben.
Is Ben your ghost boyfriend?
No, but like I'm lesbian, but like I feel in my soul that Ben is wonderful, and in this season especially, he had such great moments that we will be getting to.
He is such a sweetie, and I really love the character he's been given because there's no Ben in the comics.
Oh.
There's no, I mean, the only time number 6 is there is in flashbacks during childhood. Oh, he has no presence.
That is interesting. So Nate is offering us a perspective on the comics as well because he has read the Umbrella Academy comics by Gerard Way.
Yes, I did listen to The Black Parade when I was 7 years old, and it did turn me gay. So
absolutely, so valid. Yes.
So I did buy the first Umbrella Academy comic when it came out, and I have bought every well, not issue by issue, but the volumes, because I don't have that much money. So I bought every volume as soon as it came out. So I'm a big fan, and I want to say it frankly disappoints me how many of the comic fans are so gatekeepy and judgmental of the TV show.
Yeah.
I think the TV show has done amazing things, stuff that the comics just can't do up to this point. Having that fresh slate in a different type of media and a whole different style of storytelling, I think really gives an interesting view to the characters. And personally, I see them both as canon.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, something that has been mentioned by the creators is that the Umbrella Academy follows a multiverse theory, same as, like, DC.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so for those that aren't familiar with the multiverse theory, is that in stuff like books, it kind of helps with any kind of plot holes.
That's so true, though.
But also in stories where there's lots of time travel, it helps a lot in that there are lots of parallel universes where different scenarios are true. So that's where you get the bizarro world. It's also where you get, for the smaller things like Allison being white in the comics and black on the TV show. Like,
that's so true.
It's fine. Yeah. It's not a big deal.
That makes sense, because literally then comic fans should have no excuse to be gatekeepy like this.
Yeah.
Because you can justify it and you can say, look, the multiverse, the different universes are the show and the thingy.
Yeah.
The show and the comics. And that's fine that some things are different. It happens with like every piece of media, and it's like, listen, sometimes they just can't replicate it exactly, and what's the fun in replicating it exactly?
Exactly, because like then you have things like Watchmen and people hate it.
Damn.
If you try to make it exactly like the original product, people hate it. So you should just I think the initiatives should just be trying to make a good piece of art, Yeah. Whether that means staying
totally
to the letter as the original piece of work, or whether that means changing a lot. Just try to make a good piece of art.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, like, you like the show. I like the show. And a lot of people like the show. So I think they're doing a great job in the making a great piece of art category.
Yeah. I personally think that the Umbrella Academy is way underrated compared to some other, in my opinion, really like crappy like CW superhero shows.
Definitely. Honestly, the Umbrella Academy definitely stands out among other superhero shows, and people should be giving that attention. Especially when you're getting I don't mean to be controversial, but when you're getting crappy superhero movies, it's nice to have a good selection of superhero shows. And some are good, some are less good, and the Umbrella Academy I definitely think is one of the better ones from what I've seen.
And let's not, I want to be clear here. There are always going to be issues with big budget Hollywood creations. But I feel like, now maybe it's just a little bubble I've been stuck in, but it seems like people really love making mountains out of molehills with situations, and I'm sure we're gonna get into this later, I don't know, but people love to complain.
Yes. Wow.
And it's
I think
like
we've been seeing the same things.
Yeah, and
it's called the internet.
Yeah, and I just really don't like the view of, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Right.
Like, there has to be a right way to show, controversial and difficult topics.
Yeah.
Without it being considered to be like profiting off of trauma.
Yeah.
Or when the people that are telling these stories are also people that are affected by them.
By the issues, yeah, exactly.
So, there is a difference. And I'm aware that the issue is in Hollywood, yes, a lot of the heads of writers' rooms and casting agencies are straight, white, able-bodied.
Yeah, for sure.
But if we can't allow the few people, of color, LGBTQ plus S plus 2S, and, people with disabilities get their stories heard on screen, it's certainly not going to get easier.
Yeah, exactly. Or definitely there's people being very picky sometimes when it comes to, basically art, I guess, or creations of those people. And people need to realize, like, not everyone's story is the same and not everyone's experience is the same. So people are basing their opinion of those situations based on what they've seen.
Yeah.
So they go, oh, in my experience, these people are portraying this incorrectly because of my experience, right?
Yeah.
And first of all, just because it's not your experience, not similar to your experience, does not mean it's inaccurate relating to what you were saying about certain situations being portrayed. Yeah.
And I always believe in being critical towards media. I think everyone should be more critical towards media, but also, doing a fake boycott or attacking, actors that choose to agree to these parts and roles.
Yeah.
That's
not always
crummy.
Necessary. Yeah.
Crummy. I don't know if people are going to get mad at me for this. I don't really care. I don't like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah. I'm never going to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm not comfortable with watching that sort of thing. I don't care if other people watch it, though.
See, yeah. And it's not that difficult to not care. It's not that difficult to mind your own business sometimes.
Yeah. And for people who feel like we're beating around the bush, I just want to say this is all to address the discussion super beating around the bush. So to just point our fingers at it, talking about the instance of anti-Black police brutality in current date and on the show in the early 60s. As well as segregation. We're talking about the homophobic violence.
Yes. On
in
the
today's
show.
Climate and on the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're
those were the main things.
And xenophobic and anti-communist propaganda, as well as like low-key pro-militarization and all that.
Too. Oh wow, they tackled a lot of issues. I also thought of the, I can only say this by giving the example. So Harlan, the kid, was a person with a disability, and there was
was based on Tom Hooper, the actor who plays Luther, has a nonverbal autistic child.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know that. So they
talked with him. Yeah.
Of how they've gotten perspectives.
Yeah.
That are actual perspectives of these people that may not be relatable to everybody, but that doesn't mean you need to overly criticize. Yeah, basically tying it all back to what we were saying before. So all of these issues that they tackled, you've seen people, right, that have been critical.
Yeah. So again, this might just be my small circle, but I have seen people say don't watch that trash, xenophobic, racist pro-cop. I'm like, if you actually watched 5 minutes of it,
you'd realize
just, oh my goodness. And for people saying and they do have, I've noticed the one thing is that isn't necessarily in the voice of the bad guy is stuff that we have the, Hargreaves is saying, Diego's very anti-communist, and there was like a comment he made about like
that's true.
his dad's like lizard people. That's just America, guys. Hate to say it, but the American Hollywood mindset is still anti-communist and anti-Semitic. Like, it's not necessarily saying that Steve Blackman, the head writer of the show, or the character Diego isn't anti-Semitic. This is coming from a Jew. Thank you very much. It's just the language, and most people don't. I have to explain, probably on a monthly basis, that the whole lizard people thing is anti-Semitic.
Right. Yeah.
People just don't know, and because it's just ingrained in the public consciousness.
Yeah, and I think those things are like not the most major thing to like
just
to, like get
splitting hairs.
Yeah, definitely. So other than that,
that's a whole bunch of like annoying discoursey stuff. Let's talk about some silly stuff. About
some fun stuff. But like
let's talk about how sexy Klaus is.
Yeah, I do want to talk about the characters. So first of all, I want to go through the characters. So your favorite character obviously is Klaus.
Yes,
I'm guessing he is a legend though. Like,
I love him so much. I loved him in the comics. I love him now. I will say also I super loved Vanya in the comics, particularly because I really related to her. I grew up playing violin and felt very alone. I didn't have any siblings. I was an only child. So I super related to her as a kid. And I still love Vanya. And I'm so glad that literally Ellen Page, every single role Ellen Page is in is gay. And I'm so glad that Vanya gets to be gay in canon.
I cannot see Ellen Page as a... Like, everyone was
even
saying
in Juno, she's gay.
So true. Everyone was saying it, like, how can they pretend Ellen Page is this straight person in the first season, right, when she was dating that guy? And then I was like, okay, I hate to say it, but like I do agree. And then they did it. I was so happy they made her like have a woman love interest. It was truly a special story too, and it was like it was kind of relatable to lesbians, if I do say so myself, because
say it.
The way that the wife was just like, there's something so unsatisfying in my relationship with my husband. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, girl, yes, you are in the closet. Yeah, I saw it from like the very first scene. Like, I did know that they were going to do that, obviously. Like, before I started watching, I knew that there was going to be this lesbian plot line, but it was also very obvious. Yeah, that was a great storyline. And Klaus was also up to his gay things.
Oh my gosh, so difficult.
Yeah,
really difficult.
Starting a cult.
Oh gosh, that's another thing. People are like really upset about the humorism of the cult.
Oh yeah,
because people are like, cults are not something to joke about, which I agree.
Yeah,
and I know they did take a more, because there's lots of rooms for comedy because, you know, blah blah, dark comedy. But also I think there is very much like a character psychology and analysis towards you know, why each of them made those decisions? Historic shifts.
Oh yes,
right. Absolutely. I think that is very telling of each of their like characters archetypes. And
I feel like that's the best part about these separate plots, is you get to really know what they're like as a character. You go, oh, of course Luther was this boxer guy. And
who needed to like let out his aggression and sadness for being stuck on the moon for what, like 20 years or something. I don't remember.
Dad put me on the moon. That's like Luther. He's not my favorite character, as he has made some questionable decisions, but he's definitely, like, this season, he was such a funny character, and I feel like the humor behind everything he said, his storylines, it was just so like underrated. You know what I'm saying?
Made him so much more redeemable. I remember when we watched the first season, we were just like, oh, get off screen. Like, we were tired of him.
Yeah, But in this season, he's definitely like this himbo character. And one scene that I want to point out that was funny was when this is jumping way ahead to like the last episode, but like who needs to be in order? But it was when he was talking to the two versions of Five, like the
older and younger,
older and the kid, and then he was like he was so indecisive about whose plan he was gonna go along with. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna help the older version kill the younger version." And I was like, "Luther, where's your loyalty to this guy?" But it really said something about his character, because then the kid version of Five was pointing it out. He was like, "You have daddy issues, don't you?"
Oh gosh.
And then I was like, "Oh my god, that's where it's coming from." And it's like, I really like the way they show aspects of Luther's character in these sort of funny but also like makes you think kind of ways. I don't know.
Yeah, like the freaking
that's
also the
clever. The word I was looking for
that's
was
called
clever.
Clever. That's really, that writing is good.
Yeah. You know, sorry. I'm in this weird like mood where I just need to like say the most, and I feel like we're both in this mood, which is like, oh my god, the podcast and also ADHD mood.
Yes. So I wanted to say, the family dynamics in this show, I'm
special,
obsessed.
Wonderful. The one that really stood out to me, Allison and Klaus. This season, Allison and Klaus were on fire. They had the moments. They were like supporting each other and like also making fun of each other in that
and
way.
Klaus is definitely Raymond's favorite sibling-in-law.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Oh my god, Raymond, Allison's husband, what a guy. Yeah, I liked him too, and I feel like he was very not relatable, but just like kind of. Maybe he was.
He was like the straight man in the situation, reacting to like what, because everyone, all the siblings are like used to whatever chaos is happening.
Exactly, and he was like, "What is going on?" Yeah, I liked him, enjoyed him a lot, and but the family dynamics. Another scene that I wrote down was when Vanya is going to find Sissy because she's in trouble or something.
Yeah.
And then she gets in the car, and then everyone else gets in the car, and I'm like, oh my god. They all said lesbian rights. They were like, yes, let's go.
On God, we're gonna get you your farmer wife.
Yes, absolutely.
My favorite all-time scene in the second season is the Klaus, Allison, Vanya hair salon party.
Oh my god. Definitely. I think I wrote that one down too. It's the cutest thing in the whole world.
And thank you, Klaus, for pointing out the fucking weirdness of the incest.
Exactly. Allison and Luther. Yeah. He really brought attention to that. He brought awareness to that. And it made me love him even more. Yeah. And love the show as well. Because I was like, doesn't somebody find that weird? And
like growing up around that, nasty. And I just want to say, Gerard has said in an interview that he does regret doing that.
Good to know. Yeah.
But still, why in their goddamn mind they chose to write that in?
Good idea.
Sibling
relationship.
And then they're like, no. There's lots of stuff we changed in the show, but no, we're gonna keep the incest. That was important.
Ouch. Yeah. So true. Interesting choice on their part. Like, I mean, I guess maybe it's important to their characters, but at the same time, it fully isn't, because it wasn't like a main thing in season 2 at all. So
yeah, it was more a joke than anything. Which
that's so true.
Please, I do not need it to be taken as a serious romantic pairing. No.
Yeah, and I'm glad they definitely cut down on that as well. But I just want to look up what else I was going to say. Diego.
He is also my boyfriend, but in separate
I definitely feel that way, because like I love both of them, but for like way different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching it and like thinking about that. Diego is very stupid, but
Yes. And like I love
yeah.
Show Diego. I could not give less of a shit about the Kraken, like the comic Diego.
Comic Diego?
He is so boring to me. I never really resonated with him, but I love Show Diego so much. He has so much more, I don't know, his character just seems way more understandable.
Yeah, yeah. And I do understand him, and I do not understand his obsession with Kennedy, but that's okay. It was so cute.
It's
like
the hero complex.
Yeah, oh, that's so true. Wow. Just had a moment because like yeah, they all have their own complexes because of childhood trauma. Woohoo!
Yes.
Psychology. But yeah, definitely that. But it's just funny that it was Kennedy. He was like, "What's the historical event?" Ah, Kennedy. I must become obsessed with this now.
Right? Like,
and it was just very funny plot line.
So I just did a reread of Dallas, the second volume.
Okay, good name.
And yeah, and just a little quick recap. So Vanya still loses her memory at the end of the apocalypse, so that stays consistent. But she's just like staying at the Hargreaves residence and like healing and stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I kind of like that. That's like, oh, nice, because like she deserves that. She deserves that healing.
Yeah. And then during the second book, that's when Klaus is kidnapped by Hazel and Cha-Cha and tortured for the whereabouts of 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they put that in season 1 in the show, but it actually happens.
But it's actually in season 2. Oh, interesting.
In the second book, yeah.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yeah, that's okay. And then what happens next is, so Pogo dies in the book as well. And in the burial, there's like, so during the course of this, there are people from the agency or whatever. I don't remember the name of the thing, the time corrector people. The commission, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the commission. So there are people from the commission that are trying to hunt 5, basically. Mm-hmm. And so one of them they killed, and they replaced. They like took Pogo's body and buried that dude instead. So Klaus gets the time evolver, which they're like wristwatches in the comics. Right. Or at least not for all of them, but for these guys, they've got wristwatches.
Okay, yeah.
And so Klaus, Diego, and Luther travel back in time.
Not everyone else?
No.
Ooh,
but
that's interesting.
5 is forced by the commission. He's like having lunch with Allison, and Allison still can't talk at this time.
Oh, right.
And the commission is like, you need to help us with this mission, or we're gonna kill the mother who's pregnant with twins, 2 of like you and your sibling.
Oh, like, and go back in time and do that?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, because they're the commission, they can do that whenever they want.
So 5 and Allison kind of team up to help that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so they spent most of the fight scenes are like between the commission people who are trying to kill 5 and stuff. Right. Spoiler alert for the comics. So Allison is the one that kills JFK. She's dressed up as his wife and says, "I heard a rumor. Your brain exploded."
And that's our JFK. Oh my gosh.
So basically the commission was like, "We'll get you your voice back." So they fixed her voice. So she basically fulfills that mission. To
kill JFK.
Yeah. And everything goes back to normal. And in the comics, there's no caretaker.
Okay.
Like, she's not a character, which makes sense in watching the show. Like, she kind of needed to be kind of head for the commission character.
Right. That makes sense.
But just a little thing. It's not, like, plot relevant, really. But in the comics, 5 actually swallows Carmichael, the fish. Because the caretaker doesn't exist. He swallows him.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so
that scene was so gross. I was like, oh, my God, she's going to swallow the fish.
Yeah, so that's kind of just what happens in the comics compared to this show.
that's okay. Yeah, those seem like the main plot points. I mean, if I have any other questions about it, I might ask because
Vanya never goes back to the 60s
and doesn't have that plot line.
Yeah, so it kind of just like when the boys and Five and Allison, they kind of just like meet up after the assassination and then just kind of head home. Like it's like they have a fight. They're like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" You know, which is kind of funny.
Oh yeah, and that's interesting because like the main issue, I guess, like the main issue was Vanya being in that time period, and causing a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't even have that in the comics. That's
because it was more like just another mission as opposed to like in the season the apocalypse. They kind of have to stretch it out into like a big season-long kind of fight towards something, where the comics are more like, you know, adventure missions, one-offs kind of thing.
That makes sense. I wrote down, because I thought of this while I'm watching it. I said, Vanya at the start of the season always seems to be the least likely to fuck shit up. Like everything she does, like you see her, she's like on this farm, like living her life, and you're like, oh, Vanya's not gonna fuck shit up this season. And then by the end of the season, you're like, okay, yeah, Vanya's like fucking shit up. And it's just because of her power. Because like when her power goes wrong, like that's a lot. That's the whole world. But anyways, yeah, that's just my description of Vanya. But I
want to ask you something.
Yes?
What do you think about all the Hargreaves children being Libras?
Oh, it's a lot to handle, and I personally don't like it. However, like, I mean, I can see it, to have such a dramatic, like, everyone's so, you know, Libras also are known to, like, absorb other people's like personalities in order to be a certain way that they want to be and people please and whatever Libras do, you know.
And for people like, that like don't are like questioning like who cares about their star signs, their characters, or how are they all Libras if they're all different? They were born in different parts of the world, so they all have different rising signs. Thank you very much.
Exactly and like we have obviously on other episodes talked about star signs, so I hope the listeners are used to it by now, because I do want to talk about this, because like exactly, they have different rising signs, and me and Gary, when we were watching it, we were talking about like, oh, 5 is such a Capricorn, because like he is. Like think about it, he literally is. But like obviously if they're all Libras, they can't have that as their sun sign. So I guess we meant rising sign. So maybe 5 would be a Capricorn rising. I haven't really thought too much about everyone else's signs.
That's fair.
Except like, what would Klaus be? Because like he's my favorite.
I feel like he's like a water sign.
Yeah, I'm getting Pisces energy.
I was getting Scorpio.
Oh, true. Maybe some Scorpio in there.
I feel like he's definitely like hard exterior, soft interior.
That's so true. Yeah, he definitely has some of that. But then he also has that, like, I don't know, sometimes Scorpios aren't as like visually dramatic because they want to like keep that hard exterior. And he's very like, woe is me, but also hard exterior. So he's got layers.
Yes, he does.
An ogre has layers. He's not an ogre though. He's a prince or whatever. I don't know. I just wanted to say something that like
was nice.
Would be your vibe. The Nate vibe, the Nate impression of how Klaus is. Here's a character I wanted to talk about. Lila. Can I just say? Oh, so many mixed feelings about her. She's a legend. But then I was like, how dare you betray Diego? But also you're a legend.
I like her. I love that she just pieced out at the end. She was like...
That's so true. Because I thought maybe like she was going to stick around and they were going to be like, oh yeah, because like, spoiler alert, she's somehow their sister, or like related.
Great, more incest.
Well, exactly. That's what I was thinking. But like, because they didn't grow up together? Like, I have no idea how this works.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. She basically was she has the same birthday, which means she has a special power because there were
because it was like the
however
people
many
who
people born
gave
that
birth.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember. And so here's the thing. I don't know why this isn't in more theories, but they say like, oh, there's no discernible reason all these women who weren't pregnant gave birth this day. And Reginald Hargreaves is an alien. I'm just saying he's straight up like inseminated.
He's straight up an alien.
He's inseminated those women, and those are all his children. That's what I think.
That part shook me to my core. I hated how they did that alien reveal, and then they talked about it no more. They were like, alien reveal, and it was in the second last episode. So I was like, oh, in the last episode, they will really address that alien reveal. They
do the same thing in the comics, like with a literal like mask hanging off a chair thing. That was like a frame by frame replica, which I think is neat, actually.
That's pretty cool, yeah. But like that alien reveal, do they talk about it more in the comics? I mean, like, no spoilers, but like
a bit, but only because there's only one more issue. There's only one more volume of comics than there is the show. There's only 3, so.
Okay, interesting.
I don't think the kids know.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Because I really want to see something happen with that alien thing. Because I was like, this changes everything. This is going to be a big plot point. And then it like was not. And I was like, wow, alien reveal. But besides that, Lila is a legend. And yeah, that was a surprising plot twist about her being related sort of to them and having the powers. Before it was revealed that she was one of the siblings, I was like, she has like some device where she can absorb all of their powers. Like, why does she have every power?
I just thought she was really talented.
Yeah, maybe. I love that. And yeah, I like how she pieced out. I thought they were gonna have a development where they were like, oh, you're one of us, we can show you the ways. But she was like, nah, I don't want to hang out with you people, bye.
Yeah.
So legend. Yeah. She was maybe my favorite minor character. I liked the Swedes as well. They were fun.
They were fun. Yeah. There was some really great comedic relief with them.
Yeah, with them. When they were in the house with the cats and the
I'm very glad they didn't hurt any kitties.
Oh yeah, me too. I was like, oh my god, the cat house. I don't know.
I can stand serial killers. I draw the line at animal killers.
Yeah, that's so funny.
I can deal with assassins. I cannot deal with people who kill pets.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's just how it be sometimes when you watch media. You don't want to see that. Like, you don't want to see that.
Not an innocent.
Yeah, it's hurtful. But yeah, I also liked the moment at the end of it where the Swede got on the cult bus. I was like, oh my god, the Swede's gonna have a different life now. I don't know, it's kind of cool. The soundtrack of it. Just as like a very general point, the soundtrack of this show is so good. And I think the best soundtrack moment, like, they always use a song that's like appropriate to what's happening in the show. And I think my favorite instance of this was when Five was fighting like the old guy self of him. Yeah. And the song they played was Dancing with Myself. Yeah. I was like, oh great. My God. And that scene just in general was so funny. Like, it was like, and Luther being in the middle of that, of course, was so funny.
That was good. I loved their that ska cover of a Billie Eilish song they found.
I know.
I was like, pick it up. Yeah.
I was loving that. I was like, oh my God, this is, and I want to like look, I've been meaning to look up the soundtrack and like listen.
I found a good Spotify playlist with it. I'll send it to you.
Send it to me. And we'll link that in the description. Because like, I don't know. I like linking things in the description.
Yeah, do it.
Another specific moment I wanted to talk about. Oh, okay. So when the Swedes, what did the Swedes do? They killed the conspiracy theory guy, right? And they wrote in his blood
Oga for Oga.
Or Oga, right?
Yeah.
And then this I think was one of the funniest moments when Diego and Luther were like, what does this mean? And then was this Diego? I feel like it was Diego. He was reading so much into it, and he was like, oh, they wrote the message that they wrote was Olga for Oga. This is a name. And then they called this old lady, and they were like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, Diego was threatening her on the phone, and of course Luther was just going, he was like, really? Oh my god. And just going along with the whole thing because himbo legend. And then 5 came in, and he was like, yeah, like, they were killed by the Swedes, like, obviously. And that just means eye for eye. And then they were like, oh, what? And it's just right when they were on the phone. Oh god,
it was good.
What a scene. Yeah, that was like peak comedy to me.
Also, speaking of the soundtrack still, first of all, I love the scene where Ben is possessing Klaus. It's a really sweet scene.
Yeah,
but also the song Bayo from Vampire Weekend.
Really?
The song, it's by the bassist from Vampire Weekend.
I'll have to check that out. I love
It's a good song also. It's called Sister of Pearl.
Okay.
It's a bop.
Yeah. That scene was so good though. Mm-hmm. It was really trippy to watch, if I'm being honest. I was high while watching it, and I was like, oh my god, what is going on? And just everything, like, it was just insane. It was like insane.
Also, can I say, Klaus is a lot of things. Klaus is not a daddy. Let's make that clear.
100%.
Make that very clear.
Yeah, that scene was great. Ben in general, I think another scene with Ben was the scene where he was like in Vanya's mind. I guess he was possessing Vanya, and they were like in the mind space or whatever. He was fully giving Vanya like therapy in there. He was like, it's okay. Dad treated you like you were like dangerous and kept you in a cage. And I was like, oh my god, Ben's a therapist right now. And I love him. Yeah, I think that was like one of the best serious moments of the show, maybe, because like, I don't know, I feel like Vanya deserves therapy for sure.
They all deserve therapy.
Honestly, yeah. And I love Ben, and I miss him. He's gone. Rest in peace. But like, he did have a point. He was like, I died 17 years ago, like, peace out. Do you have any other scenes or things that you want to mention?
Maybe we could talk about the ending.
Oh,
Emo yes. Ben.
Yes, the ending, Emo Ben. Yeah, that was very surprising. I was like, there's going to be a big cliffhanger at the end. What is it going to be? I thought it was the alien reveal. Again, I was wrong. But like, that's so wild how they were like, oh, we're in a different timeline now, apparently. Yep. And it's the Sparrow Academy?
Yeah.
And Ben is like the leader or something, and he's emo. I love it. I'm assuming this is because it's in a case where, okay, so Reginald Hargreaves adopted these children from different, right?
Yeah.
This is in a case where I'm assuming there were like different children born. I don't know.
I think he picked other children.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He picked other children.
Because there's like
world.
There's a lot of theory videos on YouTube, and you can, choose those theories or just make up your own, really. Yeah. Like, there's tons of options. But I do think that, like, he probably was just like, fuck these kids, I'm gonna get different ones.
Oh, that's so true. Oh, that's like, funny. Probably because he knew, right? Because time travel thing. The time travel is pretty confusing, but what I wrote down is that I also watched Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Past season... When did it get really confusing? Like past season 5, where they were like, paradox, time paradox, like all the time. And then it was like, what is going on here? So like, I'm used to just rolling with it when it comes to time.
Yeah, that season, I was just like, I just had goggles for Rory and Amy. That's all.
Oh my
That's
God.
it.
Wow. Doctor Who memories. Wow.
Gosh, let's not go there right now.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about that. But yeah. So yeah, that makes sense if he got different children.
Yeah.
Umbrella Academy is like, they're really obsessed with cliffhangers.
Yeah.
They will have cliffhangers at the end of scenes. Like every single scene, it's like, oh no, what's gonna happen to Allison? And then they switch to Klaus, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh. And then at the end of every episode, and then at the end of every season, and you're like, oh my god, this is the cliffhanger show. But it obviously draws people in. People enjoy it. I'm not one to complain about overusing that device, the device of cliffhangers. I just thought it was like a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think it's still such an underrated sci-fi superhero show.
Yeah, in general, yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, for me, superhero stories are really boring a lot of the time.
That's
because to me they focus too much on the heroism.
Yeah.
And not like,
oh, so true. And people love to worship
just
them heroes, you
yeah,
know?
and it's not anything about like what the character goes through. Like,
that's so true. Oh my god.
So I just really appreciate that they're like, imagine how difficult it is to be like a child superhero. It's like being a child star, but worse because people's lives were literally in your hands.
Wow. Yeah.
That's gonna mess someone up.
Yeah, totally makes sense. I just want to see if there's anything else I have to say, because I feel like this is a good note to end it on, because it's like tying up everything.
Also, I put the Spotify playlist in the chat.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Okay, 1 second. I mean, it's not like we can talk about every single thing in the show, but like,
yeah, I think we covered a lot anyway.
Yeah. Oh wait, one last thing.
Okay.
This is just another Diego moment and a funny thing. When Diego was like, "We don't have any numbers. We're team 0." And then he kept trying to make that a thing. That was so adorable. I was like, "Oh
really
my
tried.
god." He really tried to make team 0 a thing. And everyone would look at him. Yeah, I relate to that one. Forcing an inside joke. But yeah, that's basically my whole list. Anything else on your part?
Just to talk more about sibling relationships, I want to list some sibling relationships I really loved. You mentioned you love Klaus and Allison.
Yes.
Also, I thought the scenes, like, Diego and his sisters are really sweet. I think Diego and Vanya was so sweet.
Oh, definitely. Diego and Vanya.
Yeah, and I just think that having them being siblings is really cute, and I just want them to love each other. And it really annoyed me in the first season. Diego seemed to like constantly be like addict shaming Klaus and like not understanding his struggle.
That's so true.
And that
honestly, he really did that.
He pissed me off just because I don't like when people blame addicts at all. I think it's really shitty. But there wasn't really that in this season, which made me happy. And even Ben did it a little bit in the first season, so I'm glad that he didn't he showed concern more than anything.
Understanding.
Yeah, like that you're with this guy every day, like you know that it's not a choice to, you know, go on a bender.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, exactly. I think the characters definitely were more likable this season. The sibling relationships were more like stable.
Yeah.
And that made for like really pleasant character dynamics and vibes, you know?
Is there anything you want to see next season?
Oh, good question. I want to see maybe, you know how they like split them off into their separate plots? I want to see maybe more of that, but like with 2 people and like more like sibling dynamics. I think that we haven't seen as much, like maybe Klaus and but we have seen, there's a lot we've seen, but like a lot I forget as well. Klaus and Luther maybe, but like we have seen them. I don't know, I can't think of examples, but like I like seeing 2 of them like talk and interact. It brings out like interesting parts of the characters that I don't realize, basically. Yeah.
Nice.
Other than that, I just want season 3 to put me on a roller coaster. Like I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but like surprise me because like season 2 had a lot of surprises and like that's what I expect from this show at this point and like fun surprises too.
Mm-hmm. For me, I say, at this rate, every season, one of the Hargreaves siblings becomes gayer. I think let's keep that moving.
Let's
Who's
keep that
next?
moving.
Come on.
Me and Gary were actually saying that. We were like, okay, they're all gay, but they're all like coming out at different stages. And then we were like, okay, who's the next to come out? And we said either Diego or Allison, and Luther is the last to come out.
Nice.
Oh wait, and 5, I don't know. Like I don't know.
5 is a child.
Exactly.
Like,
that's the one thing. And then even though 5 is like not a child, I feel like I don't know. I care less about like his sexuality and personal thing. I don't know because I feel like his character is
he's
not
just kind of an asshole of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but Luther is the last to come out, and then Allison and Diego come out next. That's my prediction and my hopes.
That's great. Also, so the third comic is called Hotel Oblivion, which is basically the prison that the Umbrella Academy would put the bad guys. It's like a hotel in space kind of thing.
That sounds really cool.
So I'm curious if that will be a component of the season and in what way, because I think that's just a really cool concept. It was really cool in the comic.
I really hope so, because like I don't think they've mentioned it at all on the show yet.
Yeah.
That they have a prison. Because like, I mean, where are they going to put the bad guys,
Yeah.
Regular prison? I don't think so.
No, they're aliens half the time.
But then, yeah, that's interesting because it's like, oh yeah, they probably didn't kill them. Like,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a very interesting thing there. And hoping to see that as well. Yeah. Anything else? Or are we finished with this episode of Media Munchies podcast? Sorry, I had to say it like that because
I guess not. I'll just, clean up after myself as I go. Thanks for listening.
Oh, thanks for you being on the podcast. I'm so happy we could do this because, like, obviously you're the OG guest. We have great banter. We have great chats. So
between you and me, laughs, pranks.
Oh. Yes, that's a 1D reference, just so everyone knows, because we love 1D. Yeah, so it was great having you on the show. Any opportunity I get, I will have you back.
Thank you. It was so fun being here.
Yay. And thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yes.
Any parting words?
Yeah, Klaus is my boyfriend,
Yes.
both in comic and on the show. And stay hydrated. I don't know.
Yeah, good one.
If you're smoking along with us, have a little like hard candy, soothe your throat a bit.
That's a good idea. I actually have some downstairs, so I think I'm gonna do that as well. Thank you for listening, and see you next time on Media Munchies podcast.